News Talk 980. Hello, how are you? My name is Les Brown. Welcome to our program. We want to thank you so much for joining us from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock. We come your way to bring you the best and the most positive program in radio today. This program is something that you want to make a part of your regular mental and emotional diet. You know why? More people pay more attention to what they put in their bodies than what they put in their minds. And when you allow positive things like this program that is designed to expand your mindset, to create new possibilities, and to inspire you to pursue your greatness, it is good for you and you'll feel good at the cellular level. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm a speaker and a speech coach, and I help you to discover how to begin to live your best life. We want to thank you and invite you always to become a part of the conversation. We have a variety of topics we discuss each day, and today it represents a particular time in history. I want to tell you about a guy named Tim McCarthy. Of course, you've heard in the news. It was a Wednesday 30 years ago that he and co-worker decided to flip a coin to see who would stay in the office or go out in the field. Heads, you stay. Tails, you go out, were the stakes. The coin was flipped and it was tails. Tim had to go out. Now, Tim didn't mind losing. It was a job that he had trained for and spent years doing. You see, Tim was a Secret Service agent. And 30 years ago, he was on the security detail of President Ronald Reagan. On that day in 1981, Tim put on a brand new suit and went to the White House later that afternoon. The president was scheduled to speak at the Washington Hilton. It was a location the security detail was very familiar with. There were at least 100 appearances by a U.S. president at the same spot in previous 10 years. It is now 2:27 p.m., and President Reagan is making his way to his limo. Tim and the rest of the security detail were walking with the president in a diamond formation, one agent in front, one in back, and one on each side. Suddenly, when the president was 6 to 7 feet from the open car door, shots rang out. John Hinckley Jr. stepped out of the crowd, raised a .22 caliber pistol, and got off 6 shots. The first hit the press secretary, James Brady. The second hit Washington, D.C. police officer. Then the third shot in a direct path to hit the president, but as bystanders ducked for cover, Agent Tim McCarthy spun around, faced the gunman, crouched in a linebacker stance, took a bullet in the chest. That shot spun him around and knocked him to the ground. The fourth bullet hit the car of the limousine. The fifth hit the frame of the limo and ricocheted and hit President Ronald Reagan underneath the arm as he was being shoved inside the car. The sixth bullet hit the pavement. Tim tells USA Today that the bullet struck his rib, punctured his lung and diaphragm, and scratched his liver. Tim is 61 years old now and has told his story numerous times. One question he is always asked: why did you do it? Why did you do it? Although he has been trained hundreds of times for this scenario, his response was, if you stop to think about it, you probably wouldn't do it. It's not a rational act. Now, I know that what Tim did was part of his job, but as he says, stepping in front of a bullet is not a rational act. Every day there are plenty of good people who do similar things, most certainly on a smaller scale. What I want to know is, what have you done outside of your zone? When have you stepped in for someone, took a hit for someone? And I'm not talking about in terms of a physical hit, where you literally helped someone out, that because of your intervention, things turned out for the better, for the good, as opposed to being a disastrous situation, an intervention. What have you done where you stepped up to a danger or done the right thing when something was going wrong? That's what we'd like to know. The number to call is 888-539-2980. 888-539-2980. Have a friend, and this friend who's just been just a good friend of mine. We've been friends since childhood. He had been gay most of his life. He said when he just knew at a very early age. And I remember some guys decided, I went into a grocery store and some guys had cornered my friend Norris, and they decided on that day, they called it Sissy Day. And they just decided they were going to beat him up. Had he done anything to them? Absolutely not. They were taunting him. He said absolutely nothing to them. They were teasing him. They were shoving him around. He said nothing. People were looking the other way. And one just went up and just cold-cocked and hit him for nothing, for absolutely nothing, because he didn't like him. He said he didn't like sissies. I do not believe in violence, and I'm embarrassed to say that I lost it. I grabbed a big can of Campbell's soup, a large king-size can, and I bust him in the back of his head. They jumped on me, and the three of them, unlike what you see in those John Wayne movies when I was a kid, where you beat up three guys, well, I didn't have that kind of luck. They beat my butt real good. They beat me real good. And Norris was trying to get out the way. I'm looking around, Norris was gone. He said, get them, Les. You get them, Les. I said, Norris, help me. Call my brother or somebody. Help me, Norris, help me. Okay, Les, but you get him here. They beat my hero butt real good just till they just got tired. I thought, when you're a good guy, when I was a kid, none of you guys remember this. There was a cowboy named Roy Rogers. So, he would knock the guys. He beat 3 and 4 guys, okay? I was not like that. Yeah, they wore me out. I was sore for about 3 or 4 weeks behind that. But if I had to do it over again, I would do it. Because Norris is a good dude. That was my friend. He's very creative and just a beautiful person. He was not a fighter. Even if you intervene in his half, do not expect him to duke up with you. No, that's not going to happen. He will not have your back, but he will run and get some help. And so he ran and told my brother, and my brother would not come because Wesley was not a fighter. So he told Boo, and Boo came and rescued me, yes, and he got the other guys from the 14th Street Gang. It was crazy. Things that you do, not even thinking. What have you ever been in a situation you said no, you didn't even think about it, and you found yourself in the mix, in the middle, and then when you thought about it later on, you could have probably peed on yourself. You say, whoa, what did I do? The number to call is 888-539-2980. We're talking about reactions where you don't think, you just get involved because you feel at the heart of your heart that something needs to be done. My name is Les Brown. I want to hear your story. I want you to call me now. 888-539-2980. 888-539-2980. Call me now. 888-539-2980. My name is Les.